Afternoon, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. It's about 1 minute before 1 o'clock. So if you are in the chat and you could tell me whether you can see or hear me, that would be wonderful. Obviously, seeing my table, and hearing my voice, that would be great. I just want to make sure that everything is loud and clear for the tutorial today. We're going to be doing some fun Christmas tags, and really you can use whatever supplies you have handy. This is a wonderful project to get the whole family involved if you want to, or if you just want to, curl up by yourself and have a little me time and work on this project. It would also be a good time and a good project for that. It's also great for maybe using up some of those paints that you bought that maybe you weren't 100% happy with. Maybe you like them well enough, but you just know they're not great for layering, or maybe they're not light fast, but they're still kind of nice. They're perfect for this because you're going to use these on Christmas gifts. And I'm telling you, I have been wrapping presents, and putting those homemade tags on just a regular old wrap present really makes a huge difference in how cute it is. All right, it looks like everyone can see and hear me. Diane says it's 72 today in Florida. Guess what? It was 11 degrees, 11 this morning when I walked the dog. And that's Fahrenheit, folks. That's cold. Oh, I'm jealous. I'm so jealous. Oh, wow. People from all over the country, all over the world. That's wonderful. Well, we are going to get right into it. Now, I'm zoomed in pretty close here. You can see my grid. So these tags, I'd go about like 3 or 4 inches high. You want to make sure you've got room to get some painting in. And we're going to do sweaters, but obviously you can do other things too. And we can work on some other motifs as well. I'm planning on streaming for about an hour, hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what you guys are interested in. And at a couple points during the live stream, I'll take questions, and I might even ask for suggestions. So if you have an icon that you'd like me to paint, like maybe a gingerbread house or a Christmas ornament or something like that, just something different, then we can definitely do that. I'm going to move these out of the way. And I'm going to just grab a piece of watercolor paper. And this is I keep all the watercolor paper kind of odds and ends and scraps and backs and stuff that I want to use up just in a plain, like a plastic folio. And I just always have that handy. So like if I do a painting and I don't like it, I'll tear it up into smaller pieces and stick it in there. And then I always have paper ready to go whenever I need to, whenever I want to practice or try out an idea. Now I am zoomed way in because these tags are going to be a little smaller than how we usually work. So I'm going to try to keep it in frame. The watercolors I'm using are my Mungio set of 48. Now these are the same paints as, or allegedly, I should say allegedly, I have tried them side by side, and I would say they're the same paints. I won't be able to tell if somebody did a blind paint test on me. They seem to be exactly the same as the Prima and Jane Davenport paints. So those will be comparable to what I'm using, but seriously, Crayola, Prang, it doesn't matter. Use whatever you have. If you want, you can sketch on first with a pencil or a watercolor pencil. And I think I'll do that just because that way you can sketch along with me, and that might make it a little bit easier if you're nervous. I'm just going to grab a green watercolor pencil, and we'll start off by doing we'll just do a simple sweater here. So I'm going to start off with kind of a sloped shoulder and a line coming down for a sleeve. Now I'm not doing the cuff, I'm doing the sleeve minus the cuff. I'm going to come up the arm, and then I'm going to make the bottom of the sweater. This could be a bigger one. We have a little more room to paint, and you can see it good. Now, if you wanted to find a sweater cookie cutter, or if you had a die cut machine and you wanted to die cut a sweater clip art, this probably is if you have many of the machines, it probably is different cutouts like that. I'm trying to think if you have a machine where you can make SVGs, you could obviously make one. I think I'll give this sweater a V-neck, and I'm going to give little cuffs at the bottom like that. And you can think of a design you might want to put on this. How about a snowman? We can just sketch on a little snowman. So we've got 3 circles. And what inspired this was my husband had a like a ugly sweater contest or ugly sweater day at work. And so we actually made a sweater. Actually got a sweatshirt from Walmart, a black one, and then we got tinsel from the Dollar Tree, and we like strung tinsel on it, and we put all sorts of like embellishments on it. It was really cute. And I'm like, oh, it'd be fun to do tags like this. Okay, so we got our basic shape there. Why don't we draw a couple things actually? Why don't we do a mitten too, because that is really easy. What you're going to do for a mitten is you're going to do a kind of like a circle, kind of like a long circle, like an oval. And you're going to do a cuff, and then you're going to do a thumb. I just matched the watercolor pencil to match my what I'm going to paint it. That way I won't have to worry about lines. And then we can also do a candy cane. I'm going to flip it upside down just so I can draw it. So I can draw it the right way, obviously. I'm going to draw that in gray though, because I'll use that for the shadow. I'm going to just start with like a straight line. This gray is very warm, almost brown. And I want it to be kind of fat because I want to be able to write to and from on it. So that's the point of these, is to be able to use them as gift tags. And I just thought the mitten and the candy cane might be a little bit easier if you're nervous about doing the sweater. I actually thought I had a sweater cookie cutter, and I was gonna use that as a template, but I went through my cookie cutters and I didn't. I don't know why I thought that. All right, so we got something to start with. Let's start off with the sweater because we'll probably have to let things dry and kind of bounce around a bit. And I'm gonna just grab a brush, any old brush will do, and I'm gonna wet to the body of this sweater here with clear water, just regular old water. And I'm not gonna wet the cuffs. I'm just gonna do the main part. I'm not gonna wet the snowman, but I am gonna try to wet the watercolor pencil lines just to get them to flow out into the body of the sweater and not be on the white snow. And feel free to visit with each other in the chat. I won't be able to watch the chat until I stop for questions because it's too distracting. All right, so you want that nice and wet. One of the reasons I wanted to use the Mungio watercolors or the Prima or the Jane Davenport is because they flow really well. And I think they just they do kind of magical things just on regular paper. And I just think stuff like that. If you're doing something really simple, I find that paints that really flow and have special effects like that just work really well and that sort of thing. So I think I'll do a few different shades of paint. I'm going to take some, I think I'll take some, let's see, like a bluish green, kind of like a Viridian hue or a phthalo green. We'll add some of that. In a few places. And I'm going to get some, that's kind of turquoisey blue. And it can be whatever colors you want. It doesn't have to be this. It's amazing once you make up a bunch of tags and you're wrapping presents, it's amazing how great your tags will look. And you'll find like different color combinations you probably never even thought of. I love how those colors mix together. They make such a pretty, like turquoise color. And I will layer over this, I think, with just some texture to make the sweater look ribbed or look knitted. And it will dry a little bit lighter because I have this really wet. And the wetter your paper is, the lighter, the more it will shift when it dries. Everything looks darker when it's wetter. I apologize for the sound of my furnace coming on. Like I mentioned, it's 11 degrees outside, so I didn't want to shut the heat off and, freeze the poor dog upstairs. I have a little radiator in my office here. But I did that one day. I shut the furnace off so I could film, and then I forgot to turn it back on. And I came upstairs at like 5 o'clock, and everybody was home from school and work, and they were all so cold, and I felt so bad. All right, while we're at it, I think I'll take a little orange and paint a little carrot nose on this guy. By the way, these are those Artify brushes I showed you in yesterday's tutorial. A very affordable pack of 12. It's like $13, and I think there was a coupon too. So I just wanted to mention that in case you were on the lookout for some inexpensive brushes. And a set like this with 12 brushes, if you're looking for something that you could like maybe share with your kids, you don't have to you don't have to worry so much. They're good brushes. They're going to do the trick. And you have plenty to share, which is nice. All right, so we'll let that dry. And we're going to go over to our mitten. This is the bee paper. I snuck a peek at the chat. Yes, this is the bee paper, but I haven't seen it sold in quite a while. So that's one of the reasons why it's in my to use up pile. Because I just kind of had the tail end of a pack and I'm like, well, I'm just going to use this up because it's hard to find. So I try to use stuff in my tutorials that's available. So if people do want that exact paper, even though it doesn't matter what paper you choose, as long as it's a decent paper, but some people feel like they have to have the exact same thing or their work's not going to come out, or they'll blame the paper if their work doesn't come out. So it just makes it easier if it is something that people can find. That red looks a little orangey to me, so I'm going to make sure I choose a nice, vibrant, bright, almost pink leaning red. I love that color. And I love this because I can use these colors that look like they might be a little fugitive because they're so vibrant. And I don't have to worry about it because it needs to last a season and that's about it. Although I bet these will get saved as ornaments or bookmarks because they're so darn cute. And it's not like it's going to fade hanging on a Christmas tree for a month either, or hanging on a present for a month. You can use several colors if you want. Like if I wanted to add, let's say I wanted to add a little bit of mauve into this, I can. And I like to make the edges a little bit darker. So I picked some paint right off the palette. I'm just going right off the pans, I should say. And I'm going in around the edges and I'm just going to let that kind of, darken up the cuff. I'm going to let that just kind of feather in. Now, if you don't have Jane Davenport paints or the Mungio paints and you think they look like something you would like, getting the set of the Mungio, the 48 set, would give you the colors that are on the Jane Davenport palettes and the like first 4 Prima palettes, I think. So it's just you can save some money that way if you knew you were going to want to start collecting those palettes. All right. I'm going to let that dry and we're going to skip over to our candy cane. Oh, we got some glare on the cuff of that mitten. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Hopefully it's not blinding anybody. My brush is a little bit dirty. Let's give that a rinse in the clean water. Now I always have two jars of water. I don't know if I can put these in frame, but I can show you. I think if I do that, I have a jar for dirty water, which is my big paint puck. That's for cleaning my brush. And then I've got this other jar with a little paint puck in it for clean water. And I always wash my brushes in the dirty jar first, or at least I try to. That's my goal. And then I always go to the other bucket for clean water, and it just saves having to dump your water and refill all the time. I can go all day that way. Even if the dirty water looks like, chocolate milk sludge, it's still fine. Now I like to put a little color in the background of the candy cane because I just think it helps add some depth, and you don't even really register it as having a color on it. I'm just going to grab some of this gray off my palette. I made this with red and green earlier. Just mix the two colors together. They're opposites, so they will make a gray or brown. And I'm just going to go in and just give it a really soft shadow on the edge, and that will help it appear more round as well. I was surprised that my gray pencil didn't deposit more pigment. Usually they do. I'm really surprised. I must have been using a lighter touch than I thought. I might actually be painting on the back side of this paper too, not the front side, but it doesn't seem to matter. They seem to be equally sized. I don't know if the person is in this live stream today who asked me about the paper from Michaels, the art media board. Somebody had asked me if it was compatible for markers, and I tried it with markers, and it feathered quite a bit. So I just wanted to say that if anybody was looking at that paper, we used it to gel print the other day too. I just wanted to mention that in case anybody was looking at it. Now see how that looks kind of round? Just all we did was a little bit of shading on either side. And by painting it wet into wet, it just naturally shaded. We didn't have to do any special techniques. It just worked really well and easy. Okay, now we're going to do our cuffs on our sweater here. Now you could do, well, it's an ugly sweater, so maybe we should do orange cuffs, like our orange nose there. Honestly, the more gaudy it is, the more cute it's going to be. So let's just let's get some orange paint. I'm kind of just grabbing the paint right from the palette too. And we can do our cuffs with orange. This is really going to dress up a plain like gift box or a plain gift bag. I have so many. I used to do a bunch of work for a company that sold paper goods. And so I have like hunking rolls of just plain brown craft paper, and a lot of times I'll wrap my presents in the just the plain brown craft paper or the plain white craft paper, and then I'll wrap yarn around them for decoration, and then I'll put a really funky tag, and it looks so cute. And then that paper will work for any occasion, so you don't have to store a bunch of paper. Although I did buy a bunch of Christmas paper last year because I was kind of over the brown. I think between the pandemic and the brown wrapping paper, I wasn't having it. I needed something a little bit more cheerful. Now, if you mix, you can see how it overlapped the blue a little bit. That wasn't on purpose, friends. That was a mistake. And you can see when you mix those two colors together, they get kind of blacky or muddy or browny. They just neutralize each other. So be aware of that. Actually, this could be for any winter occasion, a birthday or whatever. All right. That is dry enough. I like to take the back of my hand and gently touch the paper. If I can't tell if it's wet or dry, if it feels cool, then it's going to be damp and it might feather a little bit. Now, let's see. Let's do some coal buttons. I'm just going to use black. I'm not mixing it. Being a rebel today. And do some coal buttons on our little snowman friend. And we'll do eyes made out of coal. And you know we're going to give him a corncob pipe. Corncob pipe, and what else did he have? Trying to remember the song. Corncob pipe and something else, and two eyes made out of coal. I can't remember what the other thing was. In the chat, guys, if you know what the other things are, please let me know. Let's see. Let's get some brown for our corncob pipe. Oh, you know what? He had a button nose. Not a carrot nose. Is that right? He had a button nose. Look at the point on that brush though, man. That's pretty sweet. So, you might want to keep the bigger brushes and give the kids a smaller brush where they might not have the brush control, but that's a number 6. And it's got a razor sharp point. That's pretty sweet. All right. Corncob pipe and a button nose and two eyes made out of coal. Oh, he looks quite debonair. Let's give him oh, it's feathering a little bit. I guess I should wait a bit before we give him a hat. So let's see, how is our mitten's doing? Just fine. So let's scoot over to the mitten. I don't want to have the hat feather, so I think the corncob pipe feathering is not a bad idea, not a big deal. I was just seeing if anybody had suggestions about what else Frosty the Snowman wore. Who wore it best, Frosty or I don't know. All right, I'm gonna grab some red. I'm gonna go with a darker red, kind of more of a crimson. What I had before was almost like it was almost like a pinky, like a deep rose color. So I'm gonna go with more of a crimson here, a little bit darker. And I am going to just kind of make the cuff. That's feathering a little bit, but It's a mitten, so mittens are made out of yarn, and yarn is fuzzy, so I'm going to be fine with that. Please don't be too precious. This is a gift tag, guys. It's not going to hang in the Louvre. And I am going to make some curved lines to help us line up our little stitching as we go. And it's just like drawing lines on a pumpkin. We're going to do, it's going to be influenced by the edge it's closest to. So if we get in the middle, it's more straight. And then as we get closer to the edges, it starts to go to the contour of the edges. And the gusset for the thumb, we're going to change our direction a little bit. We're going to go like that. I used to knit mittens quite a bit. Okay, and then I was doing the little V stitches in every column, but I didn't think that looked as good. So what I'm going to recommend you do is you alternate the diagonals of your stitch. So I'm going to go this way on this row, and then I'm going to go the opposite way. And you almost just stamp your brush down. And then you're going to alternate, and you can turn your paper if you need to. This is really simple painting. Definitely something to just zen out to, basically. You can pop on those Christmas movies, put on some Christmas music. And just paint up gobs and gobs of these things. If you guys have any suggestions of more sweaters and things I should do on the next paper, keep them in mind, and I will stop and I will ask for suggestions in a little bit. That way they won't get lost. If you post them now, I probably will not be able to find them. All right, there's our little mitten. Of course, you could do whatever color you wanted. And now on our candy cane, we'll grab some more red. You can do a one color candy cane. You can do a two color candy cane. I'll show you the different examples here. Hold on a second. Here we go. I'll set that out of the way. So we got one that's just red and white stripes. Then we got one with red and green stripes. So it's completely up to you. If you're going to do the red and green, leave bigger spaces between, like start off with red or start off with green. It doesn't matter, but leave a bigger gap between so you can put those red ones in after. If you're doing just a one color, just line them up. Now, I don't like candy canes very much, but I do like Jolly Rancher or Starburst candy canes or like butterscotch candy canes, but I'm not a big fan of peppermint. So it's probably a pretty spicy topic, probably the most controversial topic. What kind of candy canes do you like best? Or are the non-mint ones even candy canes? According to my husband, they're not. Now try to get a nice tapered edge when you start and when you finish, and having a brush with a nice point is going to help that. This is a great way to practice your brush strokes. It's going to look cute no matter what, but this is really a wonderful way to practice your brush strokes. In fact, I'm going to kind of outline as I go, very, very, very tippy top of my brush, and then I'm going to press, and I'm going to drag it across with a little bit of a curve, and I'm going to lift, and I'm going to come around the edge like that. I'm actually going to extend that. I like having that little bit of outline because it's going to help me when I cut it out. It's going to look nice. Oops. That's a little bit lighter than I want. I need to mix up a little bit darker paint, I think. Less watery, I should say. Oh, I haven't done the twiggy arms. Somebody said my snowman's missing twiggy arms. Yeah, and I got to do a hat, but I got to let the sweater dry completely. I'm not done with that yet. It was the base of the sweater is too wet to do that. I want a chunky candy cane so I have room to write my to and from on the back side. Those actually be really cute bookmarks too, I think. A candy cane or like a North Pole sign or peppermint stick, anything like that I think would make a really great bookmark. I love to paint bookmarks. Practice those brush strokes. You might as well. I should have had a little more curve on that one. I mean, it's going to be cute. I'm not going to worry about it. But since I'm like urging you to practice your brush strokes, I'm thinking I didn't really get the contour of the candy cane very well in that. But it's candy cane. It's not like, you know, there are variations when you're looking at candy. And if you have like tremors or something and you can't keep within the lines when you're doing these brush strokes, that's fine. Instead of cutting it out with a border like I did here, cut it out without a border like I did here. Just as cute, you know, if that's a good solution. If you got tremors, or maybe your paint got away from you and you ended up with paint on the outside of your lines and you don't like that. Yeah, just don't use a border. That's not a big deal. It's going to look just as cute. Nothing to worry about. Go back to our snowman after we finish this. That's a little bumpy, but I'm not too worried about it. I'm still going to cut it out with a border. I like how chunky it is. Okay. I might switch to a smaller brush, not because this doesn't give me a great point, because it does, but because I don't want to have too much paint to deal with. So oftentimes I will switch to a smaller brush just so I don't get overloaded with paint. I'm going to, well, let's get the arms out of the way. We'll do some brown. Brown arms. And let's do a nice dark hat. Get the brim there. And stove pot, maybe it's a stove top. Is a stovetop hat? No, it's a corncob pipe. I'm just wondering if the stovetop hat ever came into play. Man, I don't remember my my Christmas carols. Alrighty. Oh, a scarf. Give him a scarf. Let's give him a red scarf. Why not? It'll be a little gaudy, but that's all right. I think I'll just give it one tail because we're kind of running out of space here. All right. I think that's fine. Then we could put some snowflakes. I think some snowflakes would actually look cool, but we could do them. Well, I do have white gouache. I could use, oh, you know what? Let's use a white gel pen. That would be a really good, that would be a good solution. Let me just get one out here. I need a chunky one. I'm just going to grab a bunch because I can't read the labels from across the room. Let's see. You know what? This cheapo Pagos one that came free with a palette actually works pretty well, so I'm going to take that. Let's see. You're going to work today. Your paper's got to be dry for a gel pen to work on it. So to do a snowflake, I do a line down, a line across, and then 2 lines to kind of diagonally intersect those. So it's basically like making little asterisks. If you don't have a white gel pen or white gouache, you could always do blue paint, make blue snowflakes. It'll still look cute. Nobody will care. Christmas tag police. You could use any paint pens that you have. Glitter gel pens would work really good, metallic gel pens. This is the type of project where you just throw whatever you want at it and have a great time. All right. Now, if you want to do any outlining, you can. You could use a pen or you could use a brush and paint. I think I'll use a brush so I can use whatever color I want. Let's use one of these smaller ones here. Because, again, it's not going to hold too much paint. So I'm not going to have a big like. I'm not going to get myself in trouble or anything with too much. I'm going to mix the blue and green together to get kind of a teal color. And I'm just going to, oops, I got a little bead of water in my ferrule. Make sure you don't have any beads of water on there. That can make a mess. Let's do a little outlining. I think it makes it also, just makes it look a little bit neater. And then when you go to cut it out, you have a more defined line to look at. The only thing about these little brushes that they don't have long hair is that you have to reload them more frequently. A liner brush, you wouldn't have to, but you have to work quick with a liner brush because it will feed out paint faster. I don't think I'll outline the orange. It has enough of an outline from the green pencil we drew it with, but I think I will outline our little snowman friend. All right, so if you guys have any suggestions on what to do with the next sweater or any other icons you would like me to try, go ahead and post them in the comments, and I'm going to take a look. Now, one thing I might do to this after it's all dry is I might put a white highlight on the candy cane, and it should show up just because we put a little bit of shading on there, and it will definitely show up over the white. That could be done with a paint pen, a gel pen, or white gouache. White watercolor generally isn't quite robust enough to do that unless you happen to have a really opaque white watercolor, but that's what I am going to do. You know what else I think I'll do, actually, while I'm at it, is I'm going to grab some more of that turquoisey colored paint. And I'm going to paint the back side of the sweater. I feel like we should be able to see inside the sweater a little bit. And then I'll add a little bit of I'll add the orange band around the top after. But like, yeah, that would be in there. Okay, so now I'm going to take a look at the chat. Oh, hey, Christina Todd. She made it to the live stream. A Christmas tree sweater would be cute, Mary. I like that idea. That is awesome. These also would be really cute on cards, too. I've got a glitter debate going on in the comments. I am pro glitter, but my office is in the basement, so when I'm using glitter, it's far segregated from the rest of the family, although nobody really minds. I certainly don't. When I was doing that craft at the library, the glitter jars last week, the librarian bought a big bag of peanut butter cups and wrote a sorry in advance note to the janitor. All right, I got Christmas tree sweater. Any other suggestions? A palm tree with Christmas lights. Oh, I like that. That's really cute. Okay, a Christmas tree and a palm tree with Christmas lights. That's great. I'm going to start on those. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. We'll cut these out later. By the way, use yarn to add hangers on here, and they'll look so cute. Let me grab another sheet of paper. And I know I can fit 2 sweaters on, and I'll see what I have left over for space. I don't know what's if I think that might be the front. We'll paint on this side of the paper this time. I think it's a different side. I think I'll just yeah, I will sketch on. Let's see. Let's see, what color will I do this sweater? You know what? Maybe I'll sketch with a regular pencil, because then I know. Let's do a turtleneck this time. Then I'll know that whatever color I use won't affect. Okay, let's do our little Christmas tree on this one. Some presents. Okay, and then we'll do one of the palm tree. I know it's really light. I just don't want my lines to show. Somebody's asking for a gingerbread house and a reindeer. Oh, reindeer face would be really cute, Sheila. Okay, let's see. Maybe do a sweater vest with a palm tree, because if you are somewhere where you'd be decorating a palm tree, I don't think you're going to want a I don't think you're going to want a turtleneck sweater. We want a vest. Ugly Christmas vest contest in those workplaces where they have palm trees. Okay, let's see. Palm tree. Got a bendy, long bendy. All right, I might have to do the lights with like a paint pen, an acrylic paint pen. Let's see, a reindeer face. I may have to turn it. Let's turn it around, do a reindeer face over here. I love this because you can use your paper however you like. Okay, this is going to be a very cartoony reindeer. I'm going to do a Rudolph nose here. Oh, he looks like an alien. This is not good. From my imagination, friends. He's got moose antlers, apparently. Did not plan my antler space very well. I'm going to go with it. And we could put Christmas lights on his antlers. Oh, man, I don't know. He looks angry. Why does he look so angry? Santa put him on a diet or something? I don't know. Why is our reindeer so angry? Oh, no, I was going to say we could put like a plaque behind him, but that's just wrong. That's so wrong. That's awful. But I feel like I need something. You know what? This can be Jingle Bells, a Jingle Bell necklace. Why did I think taking suggestions was a good idea? The eyes, though, I've got to do something about the eyes. The eyes are not cute, and they are not working for me. All right, let's see. Eyelashes make things cuter, so we're going to start with some eyelashes. No, sassy. Sassy reindeer. Oh, let's make the nose a heart. That would be cute. Maybe? Oh, yeah, I like that. That's kind of cute. All right. I think we've saved the reindeer. We've saved Christmas, friends. All right, that works. I have no idea where this kind of came from, but it works. I think I'm gonna make this antler a little bit. I think female reindeer also have antlers. Am I wrong? I think with reindeer they all have antlers. But maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm wrong. Everything I know about reindeer I learned on the Rudolph cartoon, so I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't have to be a female reindeer just because he has beautiful eyelashes. Usually, actually, I think oftentimes men have better eyelashes than women. It's not fair either, is it? Okay, and I think we got room for one more candy cane, so we're just gonna pop that in there rather than waste that space because I can't fit our gingerbread house in there. Although I like the gingerbread house idea, and I plan on returning to that. All right. So again, we're gonna bop around because we have different, we're gonna have to wait for things to dry. I'm gonna start off with that one because that's gonna need a background. I'm gonna need to put the background in, let it dry, and then do the palm tree on top. And I'm gonna do like a pale blue. I think I'll do this. Oops, I need to clean my palette. That had some grime. And I'm also going to get a little bit of that darker turquoise color. And I'm going to start up here with a slightly darker color. It's not going to be very, actually, I'm going to go over the edges too. Do kind of like a controlled wash. Oops, I still need the darker color first. I'm going to mix it in with a lighter color and keep on carrying down. Get a nice. See, actually, like I was saying, it's like no fuss. Don't be precious with it, but you can also take this opportunity to practice your techniques like controlled washes like this. Once you get to the point where you know you don't have too far to go, don't add more to the bead. Just kind of let it, just kind of use it up. And I'm just going to go and clean up that puddle with a blotted brush. All right, I'm going to do a little sand underneath it, so I'm going to let that dry. And now our Christmas over here, let's do a black background, like my husband's lovely Christmas sweater. I sewed tinsel by hand because I'm like, I really hate disposable like stuff. And I didn't want to hot glue the tinsel onto the sweatshirt because it's like, well, it's a black sweatshirt, and granted it wasn't very expensive, but if I hot glue a bunch of like plastic Dollar Tree tinsel and ornaments to this thing, then it's just gonna get thrown away when it's done. But if if I sew it on there, then you can snip because I swagged it, so it went bloop, bloop, bloop. So I just stitched it on the bloops, on the top of the bloops, and um, let the tinsel hang freely. So that could all be removed, and then you got a sweatshirt, and then nothing has to be thrown away. Nothing has to go right to the landfill because we like sewed Christmas balls on it and jingle bells and stuff, and all that stuff can be used, at least used in wrapping or something afterwards, or crafts. And then you have a sweatshirt, and there's nothing softer than a brand new sweatshirt. Even if it's a cheap sweatshirt, they're so soft when they're new. So I'm like, yeah, I can't make something just to make it disposable. So, and it came out really cute, actually. And I tried to convince Jason to that we should do a video on it, but he thought that was kind of lame, I think. He's probably watching now at work. I'm like, that came out pretty cute. Although it took way longer, and I kind of was like, why did I suggest sewing this on? I should have just glued it because it did take a lot longer than like hot gluing it, um, but it can be so easily taken apart. And actually, I use a leftover tinsel. It was that really thin tinsel. You can pick it up at the Dollar Tree, and they have red, I think red, gold, maybe, they have green or silver. Oh, they have red and gold for sure. But it was red, and it was so pretty for like wrapping presents too. And I think it'd be really cute on Christmas cards because it's thin. It's really thin and lightweight, and it would be really cute on a Christmas card, I think. Not to say that that's not disposable, but I think a lot of people keep Christmas cards. My mother scrapbooks them. She puts all of her cards that she gets in an album. She enjoys looking back at them. Oh, and the funniest thing happened yesterday. It was really sweet. We had sent a Christmas card to Jason's brother-in-law, well, our brother-in-law, and for whatever reason, it got delivered to the wrong person. And so this elderly gentleman showed up at our house last night, and because like it was a hand painted watercolor card, and it had like photos of the kids in it, and he's like, I figured you probably. He goes, I'm sorry, I opened it. I just thought it was a Christmas card for me, but it came to my house by mistake, and he dropped it off. Took the time to like look at the return address label and drop it off. So I thought that was very sweet. All right, I'm gonna let that dry too because I've painted everything but everything that's black. And once that dries, I can do the cuffs in the turtleneck area and then the tree and whatnot. So I'm gonna move on to our reindeer friend. I'm gonna start with the fur, I think. It's just a tag, guys. Just a piece of paper. It's just a tag. We're not looking to win an award here. Actually, I think this is gonna be pretty cute. Whoops, did I? Oh, I got eraser crumbs. I might have it a little too puddly. I might need to blot. Although this time of year, the air is so dry, usually I don't have to worry about that. Stuff just dries out. Actually, I'm going to wet the ears too because I'm going to softly blend in some pink. Oh, I just went outside the ears, so I'm probably going to have a blurry mess. Well, if that happens, I can just cut it closely and not leave a border. I'm not going to worry about it. Okay. I think I'll start with some yellow ochre. And somebody asked me, I was doing a tutorial the other day, and they said, how come you're painting on this area that's wet and your paint isn't going all over the place? If the paint that's on your brush, like when I take paint right off the pan and my brush is fairly dry, not dry, but it's wet enough that I can get paint off the pan, then the paint will pretty much stay where I put it. If my brush has really wet, liquid, juicy paint, then it's gonna bleed and blend everywhere. So if you want to control it, just don't wet it too much. Oh, you know what? I think this set actually has copper in it. I think I'll use copper for the brown. I should have used gold for the snout. That would have been cute. Oh, I might not be able to do that though. That looks awfully that looks really weak. Yeah, that's not gonna work. That's too weak. I'm gonna go back to a regular brown. These do reactivate really well. I don't pre-wet them because they'll get kind of sloppy if you pre-wet them. So I'm just kind of sneaking right up to that highlight area, the bridge of the nose. I'm gonna outline the ears. And I'll do the eyelids with that lighter color. I'm gonna do some pink. Maybe I'll do, I'm just gonna take some of that red that I have in my palette. I have some white gouache in my palette. I'm just gonna mix that in there to slow the flow. Maybe add a little bit of that kind of peachy apricot-y color in there. That I don't think that pan has been used. It's one of those colors that I don't often grab. Oh, that's perfect. Deer ear color. And I'll just fade it out with some water. Yeah, Joe, that burnt sienna was definitely a womp womp color. That one I probably would need to pre-wet. Metallics generally do need a little bit of coaxing. I don't really like the Mungio or the Prima metallics there, or I mean their shimmering lights or the Mungio metallics. They're just very bland. However, the Prima's round cake metallics are really nice. My favorite metallics are the Paul Rubens, but they're just super special. I have so many straight lines in my little whatchamacallit, my little I was drawing with like a super soft pencil. I just bought these pencils. They're called Onyx, Derwent Onyx, and I bought medium and dark. And I've just kind of been like having the itch to do some just plain old drawing. And they were on sale at Jerry's. They were like $1 a pencil. I'm like, I'm giving that a try for $1. Sometimes I like to just try something new, especially if it's like really inexpensive, because you feel so free. You just feel so free when you're trying something new and it's not too expensive. And pencils last so long anyway. All right, I'm gonna paint those. I think I'll do some yellow ochre, and I'm gonna do some like a bright kind of golden yellow. Okay, I'm gonna clean my brush, let them mix together on the paper. Let's see, I think I'll do a color kind of like this, kind of like orangey yellow there. Not a lot of contrast there, but this is a more intense color. And it's amazing what a little sparkle highlight, a little white gel pen highlight will do, friends. So just get your colors down, then you can go in and add a shadow, add a dark reflection and a white highlight. When it's done, it'll pop. Okay. Now, I think we can actually do the eyeballs. I'm going to do a little bit darker of a brown. Actually, that brown looks red. I'm going to add it into some black. And it's a little too juicy. It's more paint, a little less water there. And again, I'll just use a gel pen when I do the highlights. I haven't seen deer around in a couple of days. Usually I catch them in the yard. Probably because of the snow. I think I'll go right in to that nice dark reddish brown. Use that for the antlers. I like to repeat my colors as much as possible. I'll use a couple different shades of brown just to make it kind of interesting. And you can erase too. Like if you end up putting, like you realize, oh, this needs to be moved a little bit, you can erase. If you don't paint over the pencil lines, they'll erase after. Now I want to go with a different tone of brown. Oh, maybe I'll try the gold. See if we can get some of those metallics to. Oh, they don't seem to be. I'm going to spray them. Maybe we can get some luck with them later. They're not having it now though. Somebody thinks giraffe. Oh my gosh, it does kind of look like a giraffe, doesn't it? And hopefully when the antlers are in, it'll look a little bit more like a deer. This color is very orange brown, but I think that will look nice. It'll look different. And even if it doesn't look that nice, it will still suffice for a tag. I think these would be really cute ornaments too. So, I mean, granted, they're just watercolor paper, so they're not the thickest things in the world, but they'd last a bit anyway. All right. Oh, I want to make that one a little bit bigger or something. I feel like this one, I had to squeeze that one in. I think it's pretty symmetrical though. It's not too bad. Let's do our red nose. I don't want it too pointy because I don't want it, I mean, I still want it to look. Still want to look like a real Rudolph nose. Get some darker red on the edges. Give it that. When you have dark on the edges, it makes it like just like with the candy cane, it'll make it look a little bit more puffy. Do the eyelids with kind of a yellow ochre color. And a little bit of bleeding into the eyeballs, but I think we can sharpen that up a little bit. Now, I think I'll do green on the around the bells. I think that will look nice. Let me find a nice Christmassy green. Let's see, fifth one in. Yeah, that one will be pretty good. This actually kind of reminds me of like stamping or like coloring book work because we're doing a lot of like flat coloring to start, and then we go in and just add some like highlights. I'll have to fill in that area with a brown. I'll probably do a darker brown so it will be kind of shadowed under the face. You just got to do a lot of jumping around so that you don't end up bleeding your colors together. All right, we can go do that first layer on the candy cane. We'll just do that gray again. So we can do red and green. So there's some red, there's some green. Let's see, it's a little purple. Let's grab a little of that yellow that's right conveniently located. And I'll grab some blue in there. Just keep mixing until you get gray. More yellow. There we go. See, you can learn all sorts of things when you're doing these tags. I know it seems like mindless, just kind of like a mindless relaxation, but look, we made a gray. We just kept mixing until we made a gray. So lots to learn, lots to learn, lots to practice. None of it is ever wasted, guys. Sitting down, picking up your paints, it's never wasted. Even if what you make is junk, it's never wasted. You've gained experience. You probably enjoyed yourself. You probably feel better than you would if you had been, scrolling social media. Bad art's better than no art, right? And we'll just add that gray to the edges like we did before. And just let it blend out. That's all you need to do for this first layer. All right, we're gonna go back to our sweaters. And let's start in with that guy. We're gonna go with, we can put white snowflakes on that. That's gonna look really good. All right, I'm gonna start with some red. Actually, you know what? I think I wanna go with that warmer red. There's not a lot of reds in this palette. I'll show you the swatch again. So if you don't like too many reds, there's not a lot of reds. There's only like, there's a warm red, a cool red, this kind of pinky red, and then you're into oranges and yellows. So I wanted to share that in case anybody was curious as to what sort of palette, what sort of colors were in there. It's a lot cheaper than it was when I bought it. When I bought it was around $50, and now it's like $38. But that's been that price for a while. I don't think it's like a special deal or anything. So, I wouldn't run out and buy it just because you think it's like a deal that's going to jack up in price right away. I don't think that's the case. I like that red. That's pretty. Kind of like a naphtha red. Now let's do the pot of the tree red. It's a real tree. It'll have to have water, so I'm gonna give it a little pot of water. And maybe this present back here that I kind of painted over a little bit with the black. We'll do that one red. We'll give that a second to dry, and we'll move over to a palm tree. And I'm going to grab some Naples yellow, which is just like basically yellow, ochre, and white. And I'm going to put this little beachy bottom. Can't imagine having Christmas when it's warm out. I guess everybody in Australia has Christmas when it's warm out. That must be weird. Well, that's probably normal. Probably snowy Christmases would be weird to them. But in every movie, they have a snowy Christmas. So it seems like, or maybe they don't. Maybe they have Australian Christmas movies. If you're from Australia, you'll have to let me know. What do you guys do? Do you guys have Hallmark movies there, or do you guys watch American Christmas movies? You say, oh, look at those poor Americans with their snowy Christmases. All right, I'm going to take some of that Naples yellow, actually, and do the tree trunk. Let's see how that looks. I'm going to add a little dark to that. That looks too light to me. Let's give it a couple of coconuts while we're at it. Sheila Landry asked if Naples yellow is always opaque. Not necessarily. I have a core Naples yellow, and that uses PBR 24, and that's quite translucent. It's a beautiful Naples yellow. If you want a translucent Naples yellow, try the core. I also think that the Aquazol binder that core uses is more like more clear. Like gum arabic has a little bit of a yellow tone, and I think that that Aquazol that they use is just completely clear and more transparent than gum arabic. So I think you just get a better. That Naples yellow is really luminescent. I'm using a little green gold here. Oh, I really like that. I like that. That's cute. Add a little bit of a darker green in there. And I think I will have to use a paint pen for our lights because otherwise I don't think it will show up. Maybe, well, we'll have to let the Naples yellow dry on the sand, but we could do some presents on there as well. I think I will do, I wonder, I'm gonna see if if red will show up on to do the, no, it's pretty dark because of that blue underneath is gonna make it pretty dark. I might have to accent it with a paint pen, but man, I should have tested my paint pens today to make sure they worked really well before we did this, but I think paint pen will work really well for some of the opaque colors. If not, I can use gouache. I've got I got a set of jelly gouache handy I can grab. Oops. Well, I don't think this vest would have passed quality control at any factory, but well, it's kind of cute. Oh, I should do the bottom cuff. I'll have to let that dry. I think I'll do the bottom cuff in the red too. He's gonna win the ugly sweater contest. All right. Starving Artist Collective. Oh, she's Australian. She says, usually very hot on Christmas Day here in Australia, over 30 degrees Celsius, 100 degrees Fahrenheit, beach, barbecue. What was that word? Oh, beer and bikinis with Santa hats. Oh, I want to go have Christmas at your house. That sounds awesome. Oh, that sounds delightful. I can't even imagine a barbecue on the beach on Christmas. Oh, my word. That sounds so nice. All right, I am using black. I'm just going to go ahead and try to do the eyelashes with like one swoop. Maybe just to do a couple little, man, these have a really nice point. I can't believe these are only like $12, these brushes. Hopefully it's not like an intro price. I hate it when when I get all excited about something and then they jack the price up. I will cut this out with a border because I will need the extra, that extra space to protect eyelashes and stuff. That's kind of cute. Oh, I like that. All right, I'm gonna take some of this darker brown and I'm gonna do, oh, I hope that's dry. It should be by now. I'm just filling in. The Mungio paints are a little bit thicker than other watercolors, so they do have a little bit of opacity. They lift really easily. They are not good for layering. So I also want to put that out there in case anybody was thinking about buying them. I think it's important to know that because you'll be disappointed if you do a lot of layering in your work because they will just lift. If you like lifting though, oh, I'm not sure about that. That just kind of looks still like looks like a kind of like a plaque. Oh, maybe if I bring it up so it's like part of the neck. Don't want to get too thick there because I don't think a deer's neck is all that thick. Okay. Oh, what I think it'd be cute to have some like little spots, like deer freckles, kind of. I missed a spot, so I had to go in there and fill in. I think that'd be really cute. I wonder, do that with this brown. So I'm going to pick up paint on my brush, very, very dry, because I've got that wet. I'm just going to see if I can add little freckles. Maybe do somewhere on her cheek too. I'm really not so sure about this. I think that I need to carry the brown out beyond, I don't know. I was thinking I need to bring some of the brown out so it doesn't look like the poor deer is hanging on a trophy wall somewhere. Maybe I can do that just by, maybe if I make it kind of furry, it will clearly not be. Yeah. Okay, this looks better. I don't know why I'm so concerned about the perception of the of the treatment of my imaginary flying reindeer. There we go. That looks like fur and not like a mount now, I think. All right. Some hair in the ears. I'll probably do some of the gel pen as well, but we'll get a layer of brown ear hair first. There are a lot of browns in this set. All right, let's give the deer a rest for a bit, and we'll go back to Christmas tree sweater. I'm gonna use a couple different shades of green, I think. I'll start off with that green, a little bit of green gold, just to give it a little bit of highlight. Then I'm gonna clean my brush, and I'm gonna grab a nice bright green. Oh, I should have left a space for a star. I could do that in gouache, I guess. Or if you have any stickers, you could always add stickers to these too. That'd be so cute. And do some presents. I was not very thorough with my filling in of the background. Let's do a blue present. I might have to do paint pens to add some decoration onto that tree as well. Maybe I could probably do a star with paint pens. Actually, paint pens are quite a marvelous little invention for correcting your watercolor. That just made the green bleed. Oh well. And I'm gonna let that set up a little bit, because once it is dried a little bit, I'll be able to go in and I'll be able to go in and add some darker green and just kind of let it feather out a little bit. Let's do a green and red candy cane this time. We'll start off with our red, and then we will do our green. And remember, we're going to leave bigger gaps here because we're going to have room for the green. Make sure you get that curve in the stroke so that it appears to be going around the candy cane. And make sure you don't have beads of water on your brush, which I am struggling with. Should probably use a shallower water container when I want to avoid that. This one I think has a dark enough shadow on it that I really don't need to outline so much. I'll move those tags out of the way. Great brushstroke practice. All right, now we're going to go to some beautiful green. I mean, that looks pretty just the way it is. You could just leave it if you want to. Let's see, what's that green look like? I think I want a darker green. What's that one look like? No, how about this one? Ah, there we go. I think with 48 colors, it can get very confusing what color you're using. It's confusing what we're using. Sounds like Willy Wonka. Starving Artist says, Lindsay, if you ever make it to Australia at Christmas, you will find thousands of very pale skinned and seasonably confused northerner tourists on our beaches. I'll be one of them. Probably the palest and the most confused looking. In my booster shot this week, I'm still a little tired from it, to be honest. I had it Wednesday. That's why I didn't get a stream on Wednesday or Thursday. I was still kind of like just a little tired out. I didn't feel bad though, just sore arm, but man, it was just a little wiped out, really. I don't know why I brought that up. That was off topic. Okay, I think I will just kind of like very gently. Add a little bit of definition. I might go in and add a little bit of red to some of the areas. That's pretty though. I like that. I feel like it has a nice depth, a nice roundness to it. Man, it's so fun just to do something easy, you know, once in a while. Oh, shoot. Getting cocky here, and I just got a bead of water on my project. That's what you get, Lindsay. Miss Fancy Pants thinking this is so easy. The painting fairies will not stand for that. Oh, no, they will not. I see Lindsay's getting all too big for her britches over there. I'm going to send her a little bead of water. See how she likes them apples. See how she likes them candy canes. All right. Now I think our tree is probably dry enough. It's still wet, but I think I can do that that technique where we do the really, really dry paint over on the wet paper so that it blot that a little bit so that it just kind of leaves marks where we want it to. Oh yeah. Gives us a nice texture. All right. Yeah, look how dark my red dried. That's going to need some paint pen action. What color did I use? I'm going to do the bottom. Even if I'm going to add paint over, paint pen over it, I still am going to do that base of red on the bottom of the vest. So I have the same color underneath at least. This will look brighter just because it's going over Naples yellow and not over turquoise, but now I'm just going to see if I can get some little ribbing on the cuffs, turtleneck, and waistband over here. I don't know if red's a tough one to glaze because It's a little more difficult to show value changes if you're using just the same color of red, just darker. But we can do highlights on top, so that's not a big deal. All right, I need to add some reflections onto the jingle bells here. I'm going to do a mixture of brown and black that I've already used. I'm going to wipe off the ferrule of my brush. You can see the beads are forming. Oh, you know what? What's a jingle bell look like anyway? It's got the little, it's got the things on it that makes the noise come out. You gotta like, oh, let's just do a little crisscross. That looks more like a jingle bell already. It's more brown. It's amazing what just a little line will do. I'll show you my water cups. So I've been cleaning in one and rinsing in the other, and see how different? Like this is like, you know, I want beef stew, and this is like clear water. Okay. Nice and shiny. And then some hair in the ears. Oh, I think she's cute. Or he. I don't know my reindeer anatomy. Oh, I think that's cute. I can also use a gel pen to like reclaim some wobbly edges. I'm trying to use up the gel pens I have, and then I'm gonna just use my Posca pens or Uniball Signo. When I just like that pen so much better than any others that I've tried, but you still end up getting like they just, I don't know, they just end up floating around. You end up with gel pens, even though reindeer and look nice. So I'm doing it. Artistic license. All right, I think that deer is done. I think it's cute. It's kind of silly looking, but I still think it's kind of cute. I'll give him like whites of the eyes though. Don't want a jaundiced deer. Here we go. All right. Okay, that's still drying. Why don't we cut out some of our first tags, and then you know what? Let's do a gingerbread house, and then we can cut out some tags and add yarn to them. I just need a small piece of paper. This was part of a beachy scene that I did that was awful, and I cut it up. So I'm putting I'll do the reindeer. I'll do the gingerbread house on this, and then I can always mount it on something else. Okay, what's a gingerbread house look like? Oh, let me see. I'm gonna use a brown pencil thingy. Let's start with a triangle roof shape. I'm gonna curve it a little bit, make it cute. For some reason, I don't know why, curved shapes look cuter than straight shapes. And then I'm gonna do a rectangle. Let's give it a little perspective. All right, now we need a little chimney. And let's see, we need probably candy canes going around the doorway. Just a tag, Lindsay. Don't think too hard about it. It's just a tag. All right. We gotta have a peppermint window. We've got to have our Necco wafer roof. Of course, I don't think they make Necco wafers anymore. Maisie really wanted some peach blossoms. I love peach blossoms, but they don't have them anymore because the Necco company went out of business. Vegans everywhere are sad because there's so few, kind of like rich candies that the vegans eat. And you know what? I'm wondering if Mary Jane's are still around because I didn't see any peanut butter kisses at Halloween time. All right, got a Necro wafer roof. And we've got a chimney. What's a chimney made out of? I don't know. Let's see. What candies are there? Guys, what candies are there? I don't know what candies there are. Let's see. Jelly gumdrops. Gotta have gumdrops. The gumdrop trim. What else? Cool Cakes and Crafts with Amelia asks, will this video be saved to your channel? Yes, you can find a replay as soon as this video is over. And if it doesn't look great right when it's over, give it like an hour or so. So I don't know if it takes a little time to process to full HD. But if it's not looking awesome, then just wait a little bit. Gumdrops, candy canes, Hershey's. Yes, we can do some Hershey bar windows. Hershey bar windows over here. I love the smell of Hershey bars. They smell so good. They smell like childhood. That and like crayons. All right. Oh, peach rings. We can do a peach ring window up here. Those gummy peach things. Remember those? I don't know if anyone actually likes those or if they were just something that was made for decoration. I feel like I need some piped icing. Let's see. Piped icing. Can I? We gotta glue this all together with something. It's gotta be glued together with icing or something, right? M&Ms would work. Not for glue, but I can do M&M bricks. M&M stones, I mean. For the chimney. With royal icing masonry. Okay. Yeah, maybe I'll just use white paint pen at the end to add like frosting. Okay, I got a plan. And I got some paint, so here we go. I'm going to take my most chocolatiest brown. Let's see. Actually, no, I need a graham crackery brown. I think I'll take that color and maybe add a little bit of that brownish red to it. I think that's my most graham crackery color. Oh, Rhonda says they still make Necco wafers. Oh, who's making them, I wonder? Do you have to go to some fancy candy store for them, or can you get them everywhere? Inquiring minds want to know. Mostly because I want peach blossoms. I don't know why they call them peach blossoms, except they're kind of peachy, but they're like peanut butter with a hard candy on the outside. That does not look like graham cracker. Actually, it does kind of like gingerbread color, so. Oh, hello?
Hi.
Hi, Lila.
I didn't have to record you, but I actually stayed here.
Yeah, I'm live streaming. Thank you for letting me know. Are the roads okay?
Yeah, they're fine.
Oh, good.
I didn't know you were live streaming.
Yeah, Lila's in the house, everyone. Say hi to Lila.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Oh, bye, honey. You got one home from school. Everyone's saying hi. Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, the kids had their first, the girls, I should say. Jackson's driven in the snow, but the girls had their first driving in the snow experience this week. They got their license in the spring, so it's a little nerve-wracking. I have an app that I can see exactly where they are. And I don't know what my parents did, honestly. I think my parents let me stay home from school if it was snowing. I remember being in Girl Scouts and making gingerbread houses with graham crackers and frosting. It worked pretty good. And any graham crackers that broke, you get to eat. There's probably a lot more broken graham crackers than had to be, but at least it kept people from getting upset. I'm not sure what paper this is, but it is not, maybe it's because I'm on the back side of it. It is not, it's very streaky. It doesn't really matter with this being a tag, but definitely not a joy to paint on. All right, the door. What could the door be? I feel like it needs to be brown, but I guess it doesn't have to be. But what sort of candy? Oh, it could be like peppermint bark. So I could do that in just kind of like a very light peachy pink color, and then I could do little red marks on it for the peppermint bark. Ooh, Twizzlers. That's a good one. I love Twizzlers. Where can I put them? Why can't I think of candy? Oh, you know what actually would be better than using paint for the peppermint bark? I'll use a colored pencil, a watercolor pencil, because that way it won't travel too far. And if it doesn't look like peppermint bark, it'll look like sprinkles, and that works. That works fine. All right, so I need darker chocolate on the windows because they're Hershey bar windows. I will say there's a lot of browns in this set, but they're bizarre kind of browns. They're I think they're definitely very multiple pigment browns. So you don't always get what you expect. Is that all the brown? I think so. I think I'll do that same thing with a color pencil, a dark brown watercolor pencil, and try to just, I'm going to dip it in some water and try to just get the detail there. I'm tiring of the gingerbread house already. I blame the booster shot. I'm just tired. I'm very thankful to have it. I'm just kidding. I'm very glad. We had a peak yesterday, more cases than we've ever had in Maine. Let's see. Let's do our gingerbread. Not our gingerbread. Whatchamacallit? Our gumdrops. Let's see. Let's see. That will be kind of peachy color. That will be red and white. I think I'll do red and green M&M. So maybe I'll do the gumdrops in all sorts of different colors. Make it stick out a little bit and have a little dimension. I'm going to curve the bottom of it so it has a little bit of 3D-ness. Do you guys know if the West Side Story has come out yet in theaters? I'm curious if it's good. How many colors do I want to have? I could do blue, yellow, orange, maybe green. I'm trying to figure out how many colors I want so I know how many spaces to go in between. Ooh, lots of people have gotten their booster. That's good to see. I don't want my people to get sick. I want my people to be healthy. Oh, hi, Gina. Just thanks for getting us in the spirit of Christmas. I'm so glad. I can't believe it's like 2 weeks away, guys. Can you believe that? I was like, oh man, did all my wrapping yesterday, and I thought I was so well prepared. But I'm like, oh my gosh, I still have more to do. You know, it's like you think you're so far ahead, and then then you wrap everything, and then you're like, oh, I am not as far ahead as I thought I was. I might use a glitter pen over the gummy drops here, because that will make them look a little more shimmery. That'll give them that texture. Around the bottoms. I think I'll do the other ones yellow, or yellow and green maybe. But those will need to dry first, because otherwise I'm gonna, oh, I just cleaned my brush. I'm like, clean water instead of the dirty water. It's falling apart, friends. This is gonna be yellow and peach, because it's one of those peachy candies. It's something, I think that's a candy my sister liked, because we always had them around, and I never touched them because I thought they were nasty. I don't even know if that's how they really look. Well, the candy police won't come by, I'm sure. All right, so now we'll do some red and do our little candy canes. This one, so now we've had all that lovely practice. I probably should switch to a smaller brush, but we've had all that lovely practice doing our candy canes. I'll use a bigger brush though, you don't have to reload so often. I'm not bothering with the shading on these because it's just too small of a space. That looks all right. I'm going to have my candy canes twirl in the opposite direction so that we have some symmetry around our door. And now we can do our M&M. Actually, I need a warmer red for the M&Ms. They have a warmer color, and I'll just do every other one red, and I'll do every other one green. Oh my gosh, I was not very accurate when I sketched those on. Had quite the bizarre little pattern going on there. That's okay. Now let's get some green and do a little peppermint. We'll do a green peppermint. Is that the right pepperminty green? Fifth one in from the end, I think so. Oops. Oh, bead of water on my brush. Yeah, kind of like a peppermint, I suppose. All right, Necco wafers. Those are all pastel tones. There's usually some purple. Let's mix up a little, like, muted. It's very muted, if I recall. The Necco wafers are extremely muted. And maybe some muted blue. Kind of grayed and muted. Oops, I missed. I saw a bright orange flash. Somebody asked me a question. Starving Artist Collective. One day a Santa and a surfboard card or small painting. Hawaii does snow there, or Christmas around different world traditions. Maybe next year in the hand painted holiday class. I'm getting a little Christmas carded out at this point, but But that would be fun for maybe hand painted holiday next year. I will put that in my my brain. Hopefully I'll remember it when I have the stream and I can put it in something more reliable than my brain. All right, so I got a few muted colors. And plus I sketch this with brown, so that will probably make it a little bit more muted too. And I'm just going to randomly paint some of these wafers. Actually, that's kind of pretty green. It's very dull, kind of sagey. I'm really not going to worry about if the roof tiles blend into one another. Just want to give the impression of Necco wafers. Yeah, I'll do a little bit of the bluer color there. Oh, way too much water. I got a bead of water on my brush. Actually, if you add white to your paint to mute it down, it will make it flow less. So if you are having a problem with too much movement in your paint, I'm going to go in and just kind of fill in a bit. I think I have enough definition with the brown that I drew with. And another thing I think I want to do right now. There we go. A little shadow under our little peach slice. Yeah, that makes a difference, I think. Now I need bright green for the M&Ms. I think like this color here. Yeah, the green M&Ms. These when we put the highlights on though with the gel pen, that's what's going to make these look like M&Ms. Right now they look like a hot mess. When I flashbacks to my red and green ribbon on the porch last year, it just looked like brown from a distance. Traumatized. Still traumatized. All right, let's do green. Actually, no, I'm just going to do green. All right, that's going to dry before we can do any gel pen or anything else to it. But you know, that's not awful. That's kind of cute. I don't hate it. Oh, I do have I have a review on these. They're not up yet. It'll when are they coming out? I think in a week. Not this Monday, but the following Monday, I'll have a review on those brushes. But I did use them in yesterday's watercolor tutorial. I did talk about them. So, I mean, the review is I like them. I think they're a great buy. And there's actually a bundle where you can get their paints and their brushes together for the same price as just getting the paints on their own. So if you liked their paints, which are basically like the superior paints, which would be like the artsy or the art whale or the Alta New set of 24. It's that quality. So yeah, nice paints for the price. Oh, that still needs a little bit more work. Actually, let's do that first because it doesn't really matter if you see me cutting out adding string, but you probably want to see me finish that. I'm grabbing some paint pens from my paint pen stash. So we'll have a 2-minute intermission while I find the stuff I need. I wasn't thinking I was going to need paint pens, so hence the me not being very prepared. It's just red, maybe a blue and a green. Were really opaque and which ones weren't. So I only want these opaque ones. And a tip for getting your paint pens to work is to actually drop them on the floor for whatever reason. That seems to get them going. Probably is not what the manufacturers would recommend, but it works. And that was me throwing them on the floor, and now I've got to find them as they scatter around the room. Okay. Because otherwise I'll be shaking these suckers all day. Gotta slam them on the floor. I do have a gold marker that I can do the star on the top of the tree. Let's start off with that. And if I have to add to it, I can. Which I will. That's pretty dull, actually. Let's see how that one. Oh, that one looks nice and opaque. This is a Posca pen. I think I've refilled this with Dr. P.H. Martin. Spectralite ink. It's their acrylic ink. That's generally what I use to refill my Posca pens. I know that's not like, you know, they're not sold as a refillable product, but I refill mine because I really like their hard plastic tips. Oh, this one's gonna need a little coaxing. I like the hard plastic tips on the Posca pens, and they're kind of pricey, so I refill mine. I think I'll probably take questions at the end. Oh my gosh. You are just, I should have had Lila shake these up for me. What was I thinking? When she was down here and everything. I'm gonna get another red pen. If you use your pens all the time, they're great. If you don't, then you got a whole lot of shaking going on because you got to get these suckers working. Oh, I could take some questions. I'll see if there's any questions while I'm shaking pens, I guess. Oh, goodness. Annette Fournier says she has the Artwell tubes and enjoys them very much. I really like the tubes. I think the tubes are kind of a steal. The pans are the superior watercolors. They're decent. Sometimes you find them cheaper, though, from other brands. Aw, Garden Pansy says, basically, Lindsay has taught me everything I know about painting. That's so very sweet. Made by Dawn says, I am new to art and teaching myself thanks to YouTubers like Lindsay for their sessions on YouTube, but I don't have much people critiquing. Oh, I thought she had tagged me. I thought she was had a message for me, but I think she was in a conversation with somebody else. All right, let's see if this will work. Gosh, I hope so. Like what dead. The only thing worse than dead air is like, you know, watching markers shake. I think that's gonna work. Okay. Oh yay! Posca for the win. Although I do like the parkour markers. Those are also really good. You can sharpen up some of the edges here. Those are on Amazon. They're pretty affordable too. All right, let's do our little. I don't know if those look like Christmas lights or not. But ooh, that one's a nice and juicy one. I'm trying to put like the palm tree lights like in a line so it makes sense that there's like a string of palm tree. Where do they plug them in? They must be solar. I'm thinking way too hard about this. way too much thought. Oops. Okay, I think that one's. I should put, oh, I could still put lights on the reindeer. That might be cute. Actually, that would be really cute. Don't you think? All right, focus, Lindsay. One thing at a time. Made by Dawn asks if I got myself anything for Christmas. Not really, but I got myself a little finishing Inktober present. So I don't think I really need a Christmas present after that. I got myself the Kiritaki set of 48 watercolors for a finishing Inktober. I usually buy myself a little something I've wanted. Oh no, actually that's a lie. I did buy myself something. I got myself some Caran d'Ache Luminance color pencils. That was quite a splurge. I'm using a little glitter gel pen here just to do like the wires. Oh, you know what I could do? I could wrap it around the tree. There we go. That makes sense, I think. And green. I think that kind of looks like Christmas lights. I think it's fine. Maybe we can do something with our pen here and yeah, that's not really going to show up. I might have to use like actually I don't need to. I was thinking I could use a fine liner on that, but I'm going to cut it out with a border, so I don't think I really need to. But I do want to put some lights on the reindeer. I like that idea. Waka waka. Erase my stray lines first. Man, that was a messy sketcher today. Wicked messy. Because it's only a tag and I don't have to worry about it. All right, so let's see. I should get probably, oh, I'll do silver. I'll do silver for my little. I mean, how would you string lights on a reindeer anyway? I think, oh shoot, that little nubbins that they plug into here. I'll do that in silver too. That'll help me figure out where to place them. I did do a big watercolor of a reindeer with antlers with lights, Christmas lights, a couple of years ago. So you can find that on my YouTube channel. If you just haven't got enough of festive decorated reindeer, and really, how can you not? How many of these colors am I going to use? You got to do this so you know they're lit up. I can't. Why didn't I get a bright green? Oh my word! Lost all sense of color. All right. Hopefully this one's. Oh yeah, that's nice and juicy. Posca for the win, man. Posca for the win. Parku for a reasonable facsimile. That is easy on the budget. That's my opinion. Okay, I think that, oh, maybe we'll do a pink one. See if this color works. Oh, it does. It's not really Christmassy, but I've got a lot of coral going on, so I think I'm going to use it. Now, if I go to blue next, and keep the pattern going, hopefully. And then green. I'm going to have to use white gel pen highlights on these because I didn't have white underneath where I'm putting them in. You can also do a little smidge of pastel and smudge your finger around. I think that would work. Oh, great. Now I'm going to have a red next to, I'm going to have a red next to a red. Oh, well, life goes on. Then yellow. I really hope this isn't tedious. It feels kind of tedious, to be honest. Then what's after yellow? Peach again. Famous peach Christmas lights from our childhood. And then blue again. Now I'm going to have a blue next to a blue. Oh, well. And this is a great way to disguise any antler issues you might have. Now, green. Oh, I get to finish with a I get to finish with a red though. And red's my favorite color. You won't see much of it though because it's kind of tucked in behind. Now, gel pen highlights. Of course, I don't think you really see a highlight on them if they're lighting up. Oh, well. Oh, okay. Oh, yes, we're going to do some marker, some paint pen on this because it was so dark and paint pens are kind of opaque. And I guess if you refill them yourself, you can make them, refill them with whatever and use opaque or not opaque. And that doesn't show up on camera. I'm sorry. It's just reds are difficult, which is such a bummer because red's my favorite color and I don't wear it often for filming because it's kind of hard to film in. It's very hard on cameras. Okay, I want to take the white gel pen and do some little snowflakes. Because the gaudier the better when you're doing a Christmas sweater. Snowflakes or asterisks. You can put a highlight either with a gouache or your pen. All right. So if you guys have any questions, you can go ahead and pop them in. Please type the word question in all caps, or you can do at, like the little ampersand sign, and you can do start typing my name, and then it should pop up as a selection. You can choose that, and then it will show me like a big orange band. When I've spoken to anyone directly during the stream, it's because they did that, and I could see their comment. Otherwise, I really can't see it. Oh, you know what? I want to put a little berries and holly on his little cap. I got the paint pens out. Oh, I can sharpen up the edge of that too while I'm at it. And then if you have some questions, I can answer them. What a debonair snowman. Oh, and I need to do just a little swipe of orange on the back of that sweater. That does not look like the same orange I used. Maybe it was that one. Okay, so a quick tip when you're doing these is to punch your hole first before you cut them out. I want a bigger hole here. And that way you can, like on the mitten, I'll just punch right in the mitten. But if you punch a hole first, it's going to be easier to cut around. If you cut like a little tab, then you try to punch it. Sometimes it gets caught in the puncher. This one's chunky enough. I'll just punch it right on the white area, I think. But punching first, I think, works a little bit better. All right. Starving Artist Collective asks, how do you refill your Posca pens, though? Take the nib out. I used to take the nib out, but you can't get that much in that way. I don't know if I'll be able to do it here, but I put a rubber band around the red area or the colored area for grip, and then I screw it opposite way. So you go not righty tighty, you go righty loosey, and pull that out, then pull out that little stopper, and then I use the eyedropper that comes with my Dr. P.H. Martin's acrylic inks to fill it up. For the white, I actually prefer to use the Chromacryl Blockout White and water. You have to mix it down pretty thin though, or you can clog it up, and that works really well. Don't worry if you missed anything. The replay is available. And so I like to have a little bit of a border, but if yours was messy or you had like tremors or any sort of messiness on the outside of the lines, then you can trim it right up to the design too. That would also be very pretty. The nice thing about doing a border is that it does give your tags a little bit more stability. So they should last a little bit longer. Like you might even be able, the recipient could use it as an ornament, or they could save it and use it as a bookmark. I think the real boon of these is that you get some more practice. You get to do something fun, and then you get a beautiful, you get something that's going to decorate, a gift beautifully. I mean, there's a lot of benefits to that. So even if it gets thrown away after Christmas, there were still a lot of benefits. And then I like to use like novelty yarn like that, or this one's really pretty. This incredible yarn. It's like a ribbon. You could use ribbon yarn. This one actually would go really well with that one. This is a little like flag type of yarn. I keep all my novelty yarns in a couple of, they're actually just wire bins. I think they were meant to be like trash bags. I put rubber bands around them because they would just be a huge tangle and I wouldn't be able to cope with that. I would never use them because they would be too difficult to untangle. And then just give them a nice long loop so that, you can easily just attach them to a gift by, like, how you like go around the handles with a present, and then you can, put the tag through its own loop and then it adheres. I hope that makes sense. Or you could tie them on with two ends, just tie them so it's tight and you have two loose ends, and then you could always just tie that onto a gift bag. But that's kind of how, that's all there is to it, really. And I think they're super cute. And yeah, you've got some practice, you've got some tags. All right, I'm going to look at the questions really quick. My local art store, Made by Dawn, says, my local art store told me they are going to import Poscas next year. What nib size would you recommend for me to get? I get the is it 0.1? Oh my goodness. You probably have a better shot at reading that than I do. It's the extra fine tip. It's the hard plastic tip. I think it's the smallest one they do. But this is what it looks like. It's a hard plastic tip, so it doesn't wear down, and they're really great to refill. Those are the only ones I have, and I really like them. Donna Joe asks, do Posca pens have refill inks, and what brand do you use? No, they don't. They're not a refillable pen technically, but I do refill them, and I use Dr. P.H. Martin's acrylic inks. And they come with droppers. Actually, probably most acrylic inks come with droppers, so I don't think it has to be that brand. You could probably use any brand. I think I've even used like the Sennelier liquid inks, and I don't think it really matters. The point is you just need to thin down that acrylic paint so it will flow. But oftentimes, if you thin down regular acrylic paint, it's too translucent. So that's why I like to use the Dr. Ph. Martin inks, or I use Blockout White from Chroma Acryl because it is the most opaque white paint I have ever found. It's a student grade even, and it's just super opaque, and even thin down it comes out beautifully in those pens. But you got to thin them down. It's got to be the consistency of like milk, or I'm actually going to back this camera up a bit. This might make you nauseous, so if you're bothered by motion sickness, then just look away for a moment. I'm just moving the camera up a little bit so I don't bang into it. All right, was there any other? I'm just going to scroll back, and I think I saw another question. Oh, no, I think I got it. Yeah, it really helps if you guys do the the Frugal Crafter. That really helps me see those questions so much better than just question in all caps. I look for them, but that bright orange bar that it shows me when you at me, it's much easier to see. I saw I was watching the news yesterday, and there was like a new like eye drop that they've invented that can correct when your eyes stop focusing really well after you hit 40, they can correct like the need for reading glasses. I don't have reading glasses though. My glasses are they're regular prescription glasses. They're to correct astigmatism though, and I don't have to wear them all the time, only when I'm doing close work. But basically what the eye drops do is they make your pupils smaller. So it's basically like having really, really bright light. It's like, well, duh. If I'm at the beach reading, I can read with sunglasses. I don't need my prescription glasses because it's so bright. If it's bright enough, I can see fine without glasses. They're expensive. It's $80 a month for those eye drops if you wanted to get them. I'm not too keen on putting stuff in my eyes, though. I've never even worn contact lenses before, so. Oh, shoot. I forgot to make a little punch out for that one. Oh, darn it. And that's a skinny one, and it's cute. Oh, shoot. I could put a tag there, but I don't want it there. Well, I might just tie it I might tie it onto it. Too distracted. Let's see. Garden Pansy asks, as someone who doesn't really use mixed media with their watercolors, but is interested in giving Poscas a try, what colors do you recommend? I recommend there's a little set of 12. My husband got me for Christmas a few years ago, and that's what I keep refilling. Maybe it's not even 12. It's either 10 or 12. And we found them on Amazon. And at the time, they were a great price. I actually had them in my Amazon wish list, and that's how he happened to buy them for me. They were a great price, but if anything, they have like a 3-pack of white on Amazon for like $6. So that way you could test it and see if you like those nibs or not. But I would keep my eyes open for that. Just get like a set of 12, the basic colors, because you're probably not going to do a whole painting in Posca pens. So there's no point in having as many colors as you would for like regular painting. You're going to mostly use it for highlights and accents and things like that. You can also do the whole like in the vest part if you have like a thing like that. I think I might try to do, thinking for the reindeer, I kind of like the hole to be in the blank space. I think I can just reach there. Perfect. So yeah, you're not going to need every color. And if you go a long time without using them, they can like dry up and clog on you. So I would definitely go with a smaller set. You might even have art stores in your area that carry them open stock. And oftentimes they'll have each color in several nib sizes. They might not have all the colors, but honestly, they probably have all the colors that would actually be useful. It's just like anything, they come out with a lot of colors, but you're not necessarily going to find them all as useful. I use the whites a lot. Oh my. Oh, look at all the questions. Which other acrylic paint pens do you recommend as well? I like the Parkoo ones, actually. Parkoo. They're affordable. They're just like a budget brand on Amazon, but for whatever reason, they're nice and opaque. They write pretty well. They're pretty reliable, and I find that they don't clog or dry out as quickly as other brands. And I mean, and those exact pens might even be available under other brands, like most white labeled things are, but I just had really good luck with those. So anyway, I'm just going to cut these out and put yarn in them. And that's really all there is to it. I like the border. Now, some of you guys might be wondering, I haven't seen this question, but I bet somebody will probably ask it in the replay. Somebody might ask, would you put this on your scan and cut machine and cut it out that way? And for me personally, no, I wouldn't. I would do it like this because I like to scribble and test out colors in the borders, and that's going to confuse the machine. And also, I'm using watercolor paper, which is kind of thick. So, and sometimes your watercolor paper will warp as you're working it. So it's just going to have a greater chance of popping off the mat, even though I do tape my stuff to my mat when I use my scan and cut. I wouldn't. I would just cut them out by hand. I kind of like the rustic look of the kind of chunky, funky borders. And also watercolor paper is thicker and it's going to reduce the life of my blade. So I would do it by hand. But that's just me. And plus, this is a project that I want you guys to just like maybe sit at your coffee table in your living room while the Christmas movie's on and you know, play. And, you know, the less fussy, the better. I thought about actually doing an SVG file for a sweater and having that so we could decorate it. But then I'm like, you know, that's just going to make it like one more thing you have to do, one more thing you have to trace, one more thing. And I thought, you know, that makes it seem less fun to me. And anybody can do this with whatever supplies they have. And I think Christmas crafts should be like that. I think Christmas crafts should be accessible to anybody on any budget, whether they're using their children's watercolors or, you know, the fanciest, schmanciest, expensive watercolors. You should be able to do this and have fun. And it should be a project that will come out just as good with Crayola watercolors or, you know, dollar store markers, dollar store watercolors as it would as, you know, if you had something expensive. Like you don't need to do the paint pen. I didn't do the paint pen on my sample ones. Actually, you know, I think I like the reindeer one the most. Isn't that funny? I think I like that one the best. Now going back to our little, so I'll spread these out. Oh my gosh, I can't talk anymore. How long have we been streaming? 2 hours? I have officially lost the ability to talk. I'll spread all these out and show you them at the end. But our little thing here, where'd my little gel pen? I'm going to take, this is and this is pretty affordable. This is a Jelly Roll Stardust Clear gel pen. It just gives like a really pale gold. You can't even really see the color actually. Amount of glitter. And you could actually use anything. You could use, you know, just regular glitter. You could use, yeah, clear glitter. I would say fine clear glitter would be fine. But this is just really handy. And look at, can you see that little bit of the ink is still wet, but it just gives a really subtle sparkle. And for these kind of frosted candy things, because like, you know, those gummy candies always have that little bit of a sugar coating on them. So I want to put that there. Let's grab, I'm just going to define some of my M&Ms. And I'll do the red as well. I think I had a Posca red. I know I did. It's right over here. You don't have to define everything either, just kind of. Oh, I should have grabbed a juicy gel pen. Chalk markers also. Those would work pretty well. No, I just threw my marker across the room because I wanted to make sure it was good and shaken up. This is one that unfortunately they don't make anymore. This was a set of acrylic paint pens made by a hoo-hoo a few years ago, and these were awesome. And the really awesome thing about them is that they worked on ceramics, and you could actually, I have a teacup that I did like 2 years ago. It's been in the dishwasher many times, and it worked so well on ceramics. So I don't know why they got rid of. Hopefully it wasn't like some sort of, hopefully it's not some sort of like awful, you know, there wasn't some sort of poison in the paint or something. I'm fine though, as far as I know. This isn't acting super opaque though. I've probably refilled this. Oh, there we go. Mainly I just want to give you the idea here. Some royal icing, snow. Plus, you know that's the glue. Oh, you know, I gotta have like a little cinnamon tamale thing there for our door. And wait, and go. Little highlights on our M&Ms. Gosh, I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Oh, I kind of like how our little Necco wafers got kind of like modeled together. I'm just going to do a little bit of defining on the edge with this white pen. It's not going to show up too much because they're pretty light, but it'll give us that little bit of texture. This is kind of cute, actually. Little highlights on our little glossy Hershey bar windows. Maybe a little black fine liner. Oh, I grabbed them all anyway. There, right. Oh, I think I might outline this whole thing because there's so much going on. I'm going to make sure I don't encounter anything that's wet because that will ruin my highlight. Fine liners do not like to be in wet paper. Oh, it's a 0.01. I was thinking, man, this is pretty thin. I thought I had a 1. I need those eye drops. Apparently. I don't know if I like the fine lining actually, but I've already started, so just a tag. I usually like to use a thick fine liner when I'm doing watercolor because I can use it on its edge and get my hand out of the way. And it's just a little bit easier for you guys to see. I'm going to outline my snow because I don't feel like it's showing up very well. But this is just outlining, even if you can't see if my hand's in the way. I'm sure you've outlined things before. That is one asymmetrical door. Actually, I probably shouldn't outline the top of the icing because that would be highlighted, not outlined, but I've already done it, so I'm going to keep carrying on. I don't think I'll outline the wafers because they're supposed to be really light. And I think I'll just outline the outside of my M&Ms, maybe the bottom edge. Oh, who can say? Like, I don't want to outline this whole gumdrop thingy. All right, I think that looks all right. Now, ooh, you know what I could do? I could do some little, some smoke, and then I can punch the hole in there. Brilliant. And probably should paint a little bit of gray or something, but I'll do that later. Oh, let's see. Do we have some questions? Oh, the Baileys are homesick today. Just the pickup I needed. Oh, I hope you feel better. That's awful to feel sick, especially this close to Christmas. And you probably have a million things that you want to do. I'm just scrolling back, seeing if there's any other questions that popped in. Oh, Michelle asked, do you like Canson Montville paper for watercolor? I think it's pretty good. I have some sketchbooks with that and it works really well. It's a wood-based. If you like your paint to like run and stay wet and flow, it does work pretty good for that. But it tends to cauliflower more than cotton paper. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, I think I'm caught up. So we'll trim this out and I'll take a look at all of these. This one's got an Adirondack chair on the back. Hey, I'll have to send it to somebody in Australia or Hawaii because they're probably in their Adirondack chairs enjoying the season. Oh, maybe they might have Adirondack chairs. That might be an American thing. Actually, our winters haven't been too bad, but I definitely am a summer person. Oh, can you see the sparkle in the gumdrops now? See what I mean? It works really well for that. Jelly Roll Stardust. I bought a 2-pack of those at a stamp show probably like 4 years ago. I think I might have even given one away, and the one I have here is still going strong. Which I like to mention, when I find a good gel pen that doesn't clog up on me, but I think with gel pens in general, you need to use them frequently, or they do. Oh, that's cute. I like it. Or they do tend to clog up. So what I'm going to do is lay out the tags so you can have a look at them. Again, if you have any other questions, then post them in the chat, and I will kind of swing back around and take a look at them and answer them before we go. So that way, if you are watching the replay and you don't want to listen to chit chat or questions being answered, then you don't have to. This is the weirdest thing about doing this online. Everything's backwards on my computer monitor. So when I'm trying to figure out, put everything in frame, it's weird. Let me move this up a little. I hope that doesn't make anybody nauseous. I did a bow. I'm not sure if I really like the bow or not, but it was pretty easy, just kind of like a kind of squarish circle there, and then just 2 squarish circles off the side. Very easy though. If you like it, definitely easy to do. Got lots of candy canes. This one, I might go in and add some like snowflakes on it or something, because that's more of like, it's not really an ugly sweater other than it's Christmas colors. I feel like I might need to go in and put some Christmas trees on it. I might do that with the paint pens. I didn't have the paint pens out at that time. We got a mitten with the string attached. We've got this sweater. Maybe I should just put the sweaters out. Oh, that's not going to fit. Maybe I can push this up a little bit more. I should be able to. The whole place is falling apart. Here we go. I have a selfie stick attached to the mount that I put my camera on normally. So I can fit a little bit more in the frame. We've got our lovely, lovely lady Rudolph here with eyelashes. Can we fit that one there? That was just a wet into wet polka dot with I left a place to put a snowflake. I'll have to take some photos of these and put them on Instagram and my blog so that you can see them. This one right here was our little snowman card, and there we have it. My favorite too are the reindeer and the gingerbread. Of course, probably because they took the longest. I don't know. You can let me know your favorite in the chat, and I'll just leave that on the screen while I go through and answer some questions from you guys. I hope you let me know if you're going to try this, because I hope you do. It was just so fun, and it's a lovely way to spend some time, and you get something productive done out of it too. All right, I'm going to start at the bottom and work my way back to, oh my, you guys are all chatty. Oh, so Nadine thought I was doing the Hansel and Gretel house. Yeah, I kind of like that. Hopefully those aren't smoke fumes of like little children being baked in the oven from the evil Hansel and Gretel witch. Oh, you know what? I don't think any other questions have come through. I guess it wasn't really that difficult, so I'm not surprised there isn't a lot of questions. Okay, let me see if there's anything at the bottom. And I think after that, I will say toodaloo because I still have to film Sat Chat and put makeup on and do all that jazz. And I gotta have some voice left for that. And I've been talking for like 2.5 hours straight. Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you taking some of your busy holiday season to hang out with me today. I will take photos of these and post them on Instagram so you can have them to reference if you want to. But please just have fun. Just sit down and use your imagination. You can even look up, you could look up Christmas sweater clip art to get some ideas. You could look up just Christmas clip art and you'll get some really basic icons of Christmas, like ornaments and bows and things like that. And then you can use your beautiful watercolors to kind of make the magic happen. Taking something very simple, wetting it, adding the water, and just letting the paints flow really give a gorgeous effect. And you're going to have the best dressed presents on the block. And I think that the people will get a kick out of it. And more importantly, you're going to get some practice and you're going to get some enjoyment. And hopefully you're going to get a little peace and de-stressing during the kind of busy time of year. I don't see any other questions there. So, all right, I guess we're good. All right, guys, thanks so much. We'll see you next time. And until then, happy crafting.